This is Eric with Astrology for Awakening, where we look at the current aspects, the current planetary configurations, and we meditate and we attune to them as invitations, invitations for awakening. Each aspect, in a sense, is like a Dharma door. It's like a gateway, a threshold that we are being invited to cross into in order to receive a particular kind of transmission, a particular kind of entry into the awakened state. And today we're looking at Venus trine Neptune. Venus in Scorpio trine Neptune in Pisces. And Venus now is our heart impulse to experience and to embrace life as a relational kind of dance. For the Venus consciousness, everything is relational. Everything is a dance of eros and of intimacy. The symbol, the glyph for Venus, it looks like a mirror, a circle with a cross under it, like a mirror that one would hold up to look at, your complexion. It symbolizes the mirror of the heart, which you find in many mystical schools, that the practice of meditation, of prayer, the practice of contemplation and chanting is a practice of polishing the mirror of the heart. And when that mirror is polished, the world is reflected in its sacred beauty. When the heart is polished, it allows us to see and to feel the beauty in the plant, in the other person, in our life, to recognize the sacred beloved in the other. And when Venus, when that heart center is polished, and when the Venus function is matured, every relationship that we have is what Martin Buber, the great Jewish philosopher and mystic, called an I-thou relationship, where I, as a undefended self, meet the sacred other in thou, in you. I meet that beauty, that beloved in you. And I discover in that relational sadhana, in that relational spiritual practice, the holding or the healing power of love. Now, in Scorpio, the heart has been diving, Venus has been diving into the waters of Scorpio, the dark waters of the psyche, and becoming willing and becoming able to face and to feel the wounds of the past, and to face and to discover the ways that we carry those memories in our hearts, and as a consequence, we limit our capacity for that sacred intimacy with others, with our life, even with the divine. Now, this dive into the Scorpio waters reveals, in other words, the traumas of our history. And this word trauma has become more and more, gained more and more currency, more and more traction in the collective psyche at this time, because it's clear, and it's always been clear, that our human life is replete with little t traumas and some big T traumas as well. That living in a human embodiment is dicey, challenging, difficult. We get hurt, betrayed, abandoned, ignored, demeaned, oppressed, slighted, etc., etc. And in response, we develop strategies to protect the heart. We develop self-protective strategies that keep us safe-ish. We're safe-ish. It allows us, in other words, to survive and to navigate the shifting currents of our relational life. But at the same time, when we're navigating in the present moment by referencing the past, we are limited in our capacity to love and to be loved. When we allow our self-protective strategies to take the helm, as it were, of the ship of our life, that can keep us, probably at best, sort of circling in the shallow waters just outside the harbor, or maybe we just never leave the harbor at all. And it reminds me of this quote that is active on the internet, and it's attributed to many people, that a ship in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. The heart, in other words, in its self-protective cocoon, is safe, but that is not what the heart is longing for, and is not what it is made for. The heart is called to see and to feel the wounds. That's what the journey of Scorpio facilitates. Scorpio has given us that capacity to see what must be seen, to feel what must be felt, with the deep scorpionic gaze, which is that unblinking, powerful gaze. But to do this, the dance is not to fall into, the edge is not to fall into kind of a dark cynicism or a bitterness, but rather to open up to a healing grace, which is what Neptune in Pisces enters the stage, and it's what it symbolizes. Because the song of Neptune calls us out of the harbor. It's that ethereal sound. It's that whisper of the soul that says, get out of the harbor, get out of the shallows, follow the current, even over the horizon, into the vast ocean of transcending love. It's the love that's ever transcending itself. It's an ing thing. It's ever transcending, because that Neptunian call is the call to the unbounded and endless journey of self-emptying into greater and greater revelations of love. Now, in some texts, Neptune is called the higher octave of Venus. We could probably just as easily say it's the deeper, the still, profound, resonant resonance from which Venus arises as an overtone. They're intimately related. Maybe you recall a very famous painting by Botticelli of the birth of Venus. It shows the voluptuous goddess herself riding on a seashell and kind of surfing in on the waves of Neptune's ocean. These two energies, Venus and Neptune, are intimately linked and connected. Through Pisces, Venus is said to be exalted in Pisces. The impulse to relate that finds its fullness and its fulfillment in the transcending and all-embracing consciousness and compassion of Pisces. And Neptune is considered in modern astrology to be the ruler, or the landlord, as it were, the landlady of the sign of Pisces. In Neptunian love, which is what we're being invited into, the boundary between I and thou is endlessly being dissolved. So Neptune is this mystical impulse. What a great Indian Sufi poet said, I don't want to just taste honey. That's the Venus impulse, to be in that sweet relational dance. The mystic said, I don't want to just taste honey. I want to become honey. And that's the Neptunian call, to dissolve even the subtlest forms of self-protection in order to enter into the boundless fullness that is love itself. So our heart, I'm reviewing now, having opened to its deep woundedness, now in this trine aspect, which is of the nature of Jupiter, of healing, this relational aspect of the sun, of the Venus trine Neptune, has the opportunity to receive healing, to receive blessing, to receive redemption through Neptune's benediction. The great German poet Rainier Maria Rilke describes this aspect, this moment when the heart, having reached the depths of profound self-understanding, is ready now to let go and to be embraced by the healing waters of this Pisces Neptune quality. He writes, "I yearn to be held in the great hands of your heart." He's speaking to the divine, to the Neptunian infinite. "I yearn to be held in the great hands of your heart. Oh, let them take me now. Into those hands I place these fragments, my life. May you, God, spend them however you want." So this is that healing moment where we see we're broken, we have these traumas, we have these, and it's now time to stop, quote, doing the work. We've done the work we can do within the boundaries of our horizon of awareness. And we've healed under our own power what we can heal. Now it is time to not do so much, but to allow it to be done, to let go. And of course, in our healing journey, there are stages where agency and doing the work is necessary. And there also is this moment that is symbolized by this aspect, where if we keep doing the work, we're actually inhibiting the full blessing that is possible, that is desiring to come into our consciousness. That by continuing to do the work so assiduously, so intensely, we're actually blocking the grace that wants to flow in effortlessly. Because this grace is an energy, it's a subtle presence that our doing this actually pushes away. And so we dissolve, let go, and allow that Neptunian Piscean energy to flow in. Remembering that every symbol is a portal, it's a two-way portal. And through this portal of Neptune and Pisces, energies, through any symbol, the energies stream into our being. And it's a portal through which we can enter into the world of that symbolic archetypal energy. It's a two-way street. And it's important to remember that, because every aspect that involves two archetypes, and like Venus and Neptune, it's flowing in both directions. It's a conversation. It's a healing and awakening conversation. On the one side, our heart, our individual heart, is learning how to let go. Like a dewdrop that enters the ocean. An ancient poem comes to mind. The dewdrop slips into the shining sea. Let it be, so it will be. The dewdrop slips into the ocean as the heart is learning how to trust, how to release self-protection, and how to discover itself, not simply as a limited bundle of personal memory tracks, but as the vastness of that loving awareness itself. And while the dewdrop does dissolve into the ocean, i.e. Venus is dissolving into Neptune, there is a reciprocal movement wherein the ocean pours itself fully into the dewdrop. Yes, that is the awakening practice, to dissolve the heart of our individuality into the cosmic heart, and to receive the fullness of that cosmic love in the very center, still center of our own heart. Because your heart, yes, can hold the vastness of that cosmic heart. And this is what all the mystics have discovered, that we are both moving into the ocean of loving awareness, and that that ocean is emptying itself completely into the center of your very heart.